Kia ora from Aotearoa. My name's Poppy. I like to call myself Poppy Joy. I put that name Joy in there to help me with cancer healing. I am talking to you today not about my regular topic. This is a totally separate video on a totally different topic. This has got nothing to do with the Mayan calendar, apart from that I have found unity consciousness codes in there which has helped my life. But I'm actually going to talk to you about child trafficking, my experience a little bit, because basically there's a whole lot of people, adults, and of course people are very aware of the children and trying to stop the damage to the children, and Mel Gibson has produced something I would love to see, which is also very helpful. But there's also a lot of adults who have been suppressed, oppressed, and any adult who has been through what I have been, and I'm calling it straight, satanic ritual abuse, has usually been left very, very unsupported, left high and dry in their life. They have not been believed. They have had to duck and dive. You have to strategize your whole life, basically because humanity doesn't believe that this happens and is also very unaware of the belief structures and systems and the cursings and all things that lead into a person's life after the great traumas that keep them in sickness, keep them suppressed, keep them oppressed, keep the agenda silent, and keep it happening. There is a lot that happens in secret, and things that happen in secret are empowered by the secrecy, and also they can continue. So I have been thriving too much on the positivity end of the spectrum. I have given some public talks about how I have found the state of grace and how I have managed to keep myself alive and how I have managed to be, but I have not been in touch with the absolute rage and the anger. And recently, in the last few weeks, an incident happened which really helped me to get in touch with the anger and the rage connected, where I was supposed to be with a therapist who was very abusive and didn't believe me, and she didn't believe the paralysis symptoms that I was enduring as a result of the cancerous debris that I'm still clearing out of my throat and my neck and my head. And while I was in this paralyzed state, she took some actions to try to throw me out of apparently my untruth, of my pretending of symptoms, and maybe even my whole pretending that any of this ever happened. Now, I am a person of truth. I cannot stand untruth. Untruth has been the bane of my life. And so I try to keep everything in truth and with a balance of love. Now, it's a miracle that after everything that has happened to me and many other incredible people that have endured this and been suppressed and been silenced, that I'm alive, actually. There has been so many times that my life has been at risk, and my life was left very, very dangerously at risk as a result of the actions of a therapist who had their own agenda and who had got connected up with a cult, and a cult that I was wishing to expose. It was a cult that had fleeced me of $9,000 of my money. I had done all the training and everything with them. I had believed that they were going to help set me up in creating retreat centres again, which is what I used to do. I used to be a retreat facilitator when I was well and when I didn't have all my memories and issues in my fore. I haven't been able to work for quite a few years now, so I've had trouble with homelessness. I've had trouble with being pursued by the government for being speaking up that there may even be natural ways that you can heal cancer. I've had been ducking and diving. It's just the same old belief structure that got instilled in me as a child, that I'm not safe, that support doesn't come until you're near death. Those were realities in my life, and they are belief systems that came up. So we get left with all of these belief systems, and basically you get left high and dry. I have recently talked to friends and a family member about the struggles and how it is, and even talked to them that actually there isn't any support, and well, you can't even support me and help, and they can't, and they don't, and you're just left on your own. So something has to happen, particularly here in my country, Aotearoa. I think there's more support in other countries. I'm just starting to connect up with people from other countries now, but we need to have something in place here, because I have come so close to death from being unsupported, and that when I had incredible needs for support and help after induced psychosis, what happened with the therapist, and being left on my own to fend for myself with there was no other therapeutic support around. My daughter came up, travelled up and took care of me and spent thousands of her own money to help me in an emergency situation. She's my biggest reason for that I'm still here today, because I came very close to, it's all too much actually. I've had years and years of suffering, I've had years of sickness, I've been programmed to put on a brave face, I've been programmed to pretend that I'm well when I'm not. I do reflect a picture of health because I take care of my body, but it doesn't stop the debris, cancerous material from causing all sorts of symptoms and keeping me down. And you know, I've spent these last few years, I've had so much time in bed, I've had so much time to meditate, to ponder, to get down to the bottom of what is truth and what can we do about all our situations. So this is going to be an introductory video, and I'm going to just keep putting them out there because I want to create awareness. Mel Gibson has put out that movie, I'm sorry I can't remember the name, I really want to see it, but it's about child trafficking, it's about the reality of it. I've got a lot of information about how the banking systems are behind that, or how they were definitely behind the rituals that were in my life, and how legislation gets written on the top of children's blood, and the power of words, and let alone the power of any energetic system, even calendars. The whole world runs on a calendar which came from the Vatican, which has actually been a great source of satanic ritual abuse, and that calendar even holds it, and then people celebrate all these gateway days, and they're actually just empowering the Gregorian Calendar. The Schumann Resonance goes up because so many people put their attention on it, but you'll notice that it only goes up in the time in the northern hemisphere. It doesn't go up in 777 on the southern hemisphere. It's only where you get a collective of people that are doing something that causes the earth to that causes a consciousness shift, because the Schumann Resonance measures the Earth's frequency connected with the human consciousness frequency. So there's so much to unravel, there's so much to undo, there's so much to disclose. And one of my main reasons is because I've been so sick. I have to duck and dive, I have to strategize my life. I find it very hard to get out of post-traumatic stress because I have to watch everyone and what they're doing, because people, when people don't believe you, that is when harm is done and stories get made, and even can block the support that is needed, and that's sort of the sorts of things that's been happening recently. But I love humanity. I love this planet most of all, and I know that I'm here to help this planet through this transition and the undoing of the traumas and the abuses at the foundational levels of sexuality is a huge part of that. So I am going to do what I can to create awareness, and hopefully that we can get some really good help and support in New Zealand. There is some places, some channel people straight back into churches, which for me, there was a lot of church connection or feeling or whatever to do with rituals. I'm not going to go anywhere near churches. I was a pastor's wife. That church was an abusive church. Children were harmed within that church. I spoke up about it. I got persecuted. I got oppressed. The same old, same old. The people that reveal the secrets and expose things and bring them to the light get punished, and often left high and dry without support. I am in a place in my life where I actually need a sanctuary. I need a safe place to live and be, where I cannot be in PTSD. But because I haven't been able to work, and even though I'm highly qualified and I've got all sorts of creative gifts and abilities, I have a very unhealthy relationship with the financial system, which I am really grateful to, just knowing that my ritual was connected up with Rothschilds, and that my mother was a child growing up on their estate, drinking sherries and having tarts with Eugene Rothschild. So I am going to leave you with that at the moment. There's a fair bit of anger and rage underneath this, which I hope has come out constructively and helpfully for humanity and for our beautiful planet. I need to go and sit and be with nature so that I'm calm enough to bring this, because I have been left high and dry, unsupported, and still not supported. And even though that my case has actually gone through to the Accident Compensation Corporation of New Zealand, there's been all kinds of hold-ups, there's been all kinds of disinformation involved because of the therapist involved, and it's a big mess. And we have to clean this all up together, not just the ones that got traumatized, not just the ones that got picked out. We actually did it. We did it for you. We did it to try and make this world a better place. At a soul level, I know that I did it to help the ascension of the earth and to end this sexual abuse and this craziness on this planet, so that we could start living better lives. But we've got a lot of work to do. So thank you. Now I'm going to leave comments open on this YouTube, but please don't put any comments unless you feel you need to ask a question that can help others. I'm not going to answer anything, and I may delete anything that I find offensive and abusive. I may not respond to some things because I'm in a place now where I have to put myself first. I used to put everybody first. I used to help people heal, but now my needs have got so great, I have to put myself first by speaking out. But I also want to speak out on behalf of the children, on behalf of just stopping this once and for all. So love to you all. I hope that together we can create a way forward that blesses everyone and everything in the way that it's possible, with human love, with truth, with peace, with understanding, and the hope of great healing.